My next guest is a freshman, University of Chicago. He is a conservative columnist for the school's student newspaper. He's been fired. He publicly challenged another columnist to debate him over mask mandates after pointing out that she had posted photographs of herself at parties not wearing masks. He called her out for hypocrisy and challenged her to a debate. He got fired. He now joins us. Please welcome Daniel Schmidt. We just lost him? Okay. We'll try and get him back. The newspaper is called the Chicago Maroon. It's an independent student newspaper since 1892, and notified him that he was terminated for launching a social media campaign against this other columnist who has condemned, quote, rhetoric of anti-mask, anti-lockdowns, anti-vaccinations, anti-expertise, and so forth, close quote. And Daniel Schmidt now joins us by phone. Daniel, you there?
Yes. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing well, Daniel. Just going over the facts of what happened to you. You were fired because you challenged a fellow columnist to debate over mask mandates, pointing out her hypocrisy because she was partying, posted photographs on her own social media showing that she was not wearing masks, and you challenged her to a debate, and you get fired. That doesn't seem right to me, doesn't seem fair to me. Tell me what happened.
No, it's not fair at all, but I think your description is fair. Basically, there was a columnist at my university who wrote a letter or a column, saying, if you're anti-mask, you're against the science, and you should be silenced. She was going after this professor who was expressing some views contradicting masks. And I noticed that this same columnist on her Instagram page had pictures of her partying without a mask. And it's like, wait a second, if we're in a pandemic, as she says, why are you out partying without a mask? But then you write columns saying that people who express anti-mask views are going against the science and are going against the establishment and are locked in the Middle Ages. That was her basic premise. So I took to social media and I just asked a very basic question. I asked her, why are you expressing these views while you're out and about not wearing masks? How is that fair? Do you not see the hypocrisy? And then I challenged her to a debate. I said, Irene, that is her name, let's debate in public about this. Let's express our views and let's get to the bottom of this. And in return, I was fired. I was accused of, doing concerning conduct. And they said what I was doing was as egregious as harming somebody.
How do you pronounce her last name?
I believe it's Chi. I believe it's Irene Chi.
Chi, okay. So you were accused of violating the newspaper's policies against, I forget the term, but basically against extremist conduct by simply challenging a student to a debate?
That is correct. That is what they told me. And another important detail that must be added, I believe, is initially the editors wanted to meet with me. They wanted to meet with me. They wanted to discuss my quote-unquote concerning conduct. I said, okay, I'll meet under the assumption that I can record the meeting because I think what you're going to tell me is worth, the people being able to know. And as soon as I sent that email, they went quiet for a bit. They got back to me the next day, and they said, actually, we're not going to do the meeting, and you're fired, and you should be ashamed of yourself because you did egregious conduct. So I couldn't even get a meeting with them. They fired me. They wouldn't even meet me to my face. These people are pathetic. They're not real human beings, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But, yeah, I attend an elite school, and that is sort of how things are going nowadays. You cannot challenge somebody to a debate because that is hate speech, and you are violating them.
My guest is Daniel Schmidt. He is a freshman at University of Chicago. So let's just go over this again. 3 Maroon editors said they wanted to meet with you. You said, fine, provided I can record the meeting, and then they decided not to have the meeting and then fired you.
That is correct. That is correct. You would think a publication that has integrity, that actually cares about, representing the people, they would meet with me at least because I was their only conservative columnist. You would think they would show me some respect, but they wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't even meet me to my face.
Now, supposedly the policy of not doing, quote, anything egregious, close quote, was revealed to you when you first started working for the newspaper. Is that right?
That is correct. They showed this little infographic, and they said, do nothing egregious. And on their examples, they said, don't harm people. It's like, okay, that's fair. But is me asking someone to debate me as egregious as harming someone? These people consider any speech that remotely offends or, goes in the offense. Because here's the thing, Larry. Here's the thing. Conservatives at a school like University of Chicago, we're supposed to be silent. We're supposed to not challenge people like Irene to a debate. We're supposed to just take everything they say and just nod along because we're the minorities and we're stupid and we're uneducated. So when I said, look, Irene, you're calling people like me dumb. I'm a conservative. I think masks are ineffective and actually more harmful than good. Irene, let's debate about this. I'm actually opening the conversation, and they fired me in response to that. So what does that tell you? It tells you these people don't actually want a conversation. These people will preach these left-leaning beliefs all day, and then they'll practice the exact opposite. And then we call them out on it. They'll just not respond because they don't care.
Now, for the Maroon editor's part, they're accusing you of, quote, spamming and encouraging others to spam, close quote. What do they mean by that?
That's the thing. They present no evidence for that. The paper I actually write for, which I'm proud to write for, the Chicago Thinker, which is the only conservative paper at UChicago, which actually cares about presenting different beliefs. Christopher Phillips, the writer, actually asked them, do you have any evidence for that? And they didn't present any evidence. What they said is borderline defamatory. They should be ashamed of themselves, and they're just making stuff up. And again, if they have all this evidence, if they have all these claims, tell it to my face. But they won't. They won't tell it to my face at all. They will refuse a meeting if I say, can I record it?
So you work for two student newspapers, the Chicago Thinker, which is the conservative one, and the Maroon, which is the other one, which is not conservative. How many columnists does the Chicago Maroon have?
The Chicago Maroon, I don't know the exact number. I would say probably maybe 10, and I was by far and away the only remotely conservative person. Everyone else is on the far left, socialist, abolish the police, abolish the university even. You don't get conservative ideas at a paper like the Maroon.
I remember, Daniel, I'm old enough to remember when Milton Friedman used to teach at your school. What's happened?
Good times, right? You would think, and that's why I came to this school, and that's why a lot of people came to the school. University of Chicago was always known as like this sort of unorthodox elite school. People here actually had difficult conversations. They actually had big ideas.
Daniel, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. What are you going to do about this?
Sorry, can you say it again?
What are you going to do about this? What kind of action are you going to take, if any?
What am I going to do about this? Well, I'm never going to write for the Maroon again, and I'm going to write for the Chicago Thinker. And I urge anybody who's remotely conservative to just not take people like the Maroon editors seriously because they're total jokes and make the school, and they embarrass the school and hurt its brand. So do not take these people seriously. Do not bow down to them. Daniel
Schmidt, freshman, University of Chicago. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on. Stand your ground. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.